Goodness gracious. Alright, YouTube. This orientation thing is messing me up. I guess we'll do it this way. We'll see if anybody checks in here. We're going to give it a minute to warm up and get into the topic. See what's going on. See how everybody's doing. And let you know what's going on. But I'm not going to get started until somebody checks in here and tells me my audio is okay. Because you just never know. Alright. I guess I'll just dilly about here for a minute. I guess if you're watching this on replay, maybe fast forward to about the 3rd minute. We'll get started at the 3rd minute just to make sure our audio is good. But we'll see who checks in and get an audio check. Somebody, maybe? Wait, I gotta... Okay. Chat should be good. Audio check out there in the chat. Audio check in the chat. And is my visual right? Is my camera turned the right way? Because it like changed orientation on me last minute, and I don't know if I turned it the right way or not. Because YouTube doesn't make anything easy. All right, Mr. UFO, good evening, indeed. Is the audio good? I guess we'll see if we get a feedback on the audio, and we'll get started. Barry Wood checking in. What is up? Audio is good, says Barry. Fire. We're rolling. All right, YouTube. So the topic of the day, topic of the week, for a large majority of people, I don't know, in the preparedness community in particular, maybe not everybody, but near and dear to our hearts. Shared a little bit on YouTube, have shared a ton on Twitter. So if you're on the Twitter, check out my Twitter for a lot of what we're talking about. But the Hurricane Helen debacle that hit the mountains, I just want to give everybody a heads up what we're doing. I think most everybody knows that that's where our previous residence was. That's where we grew up and did the things. So we got to get back there and help some people as best we can. So the plan was, originally, I was going to be up here in the Northeast for a work, business-related trip, and I was going to tag along and do some sightseeing afterwards and, have some vacation. And then Hurricane Helene rolls in and does what she does, and we're having a change of plans. So it's taken me a while to figure out the logistics, because obviously I had logistics set up for a vacation. And this would probably be significantly easier if I was at home originally and starting from scratch, because I could bring a lot more to bear than what we're going to do. But the plan is, and what we're going to be looking at doing, the timing is right. We're going to be coming out of the Northeast on Saturday evening and getting into North Carolina early Sunday morning. And we're going to deliver some goods to the family, some needs, and we're going to stock up whatever we can at one of the resupply points that they have set up, which, if you don't know, a large majority of the supply points that they're setting up, relief for people, are in the churches. If you've never been to the Southeast, in particular, this region area, pretty much the churches are the community. The community is the church. There's about a church every 3 miles. If you did the math on it, I would bet that that's probably accurate. Um, and that's where a lot of the relief is getting coordinated through and run through, with all the people that are coming in and bringing things in, uh, to this area in particular. Obviously, the areas that are harder hit and just absolutely decimated, that's a different case. But what we're focusing on is Watauga County. It's in the top northeast corner, um, right on the Tennessee border, and that's where we're going to be going. So we're going to do that Sunday. Um, and what I would like to offer up, just because I know everybody, or a lot of people, not everybody, but if people have been interested in donating and they haven't really found anything they were interested in donating to, I'm gonna. I've got my email in the discussion box down there. Email me at the HTTP, and I'll send you a Zelle link, and we'll put ourselves out there a little bit because it's definitely a what's the word for it? Doxing situation. But this is important, and I want to give an opportunity if they don't feel comfortable donating to somebody else. Hopefully, they can trust me. Over the years, we've tried to prove ourselves trustworthy as much as anybody. But what we're going to be, and we're getting family stuff because we have some family things exactly identified. But for the general populace, we're looking forward here because obviously the water supply, the food and stuff, will do that. But in addition, some needs that are coming up on top of diapers, pillows, winter blankets. The winter is coming quickly. We're only about 3 weeks out. And people that are in shelters in particular, but also those that are in houses with no power, that had stuff damaged, on the lower level of the house, don't have a lot of that stuff. So that's what some of the needs are right now they're talking about. So we'll look at getting some of that stuff and getting that into some of the donation centers, in particular on the western side of the county, where the power is still out on the far Tennessee border side, and there's still power out on the eastern side, but that's real more pocketed depending on which location. But that's going pretty good. Some updates that I had, pretty much people are as hardy as you think they are. The stereotype matches the results, I think, in a lot of ways. Most of my family is over 70 years old, and they were out there cutting trees and doing the things they needed to do to get out and help people, including digging themselves out if there was mud or whatever, and small repairs. Nobody that I directly know had lost a house or anything, but definitely a lot of tree cutting and some mud digging through, but not significant property damage, which is always good in this situation. But it's definitely, as the old timers say, a once in a lifetime event. So sounds like everybody was fairly well prepared. Generators, and everything put to use, and chainsaws and all that good stuff. Some lessons learned, which I might cover in another video, especially after we get out there on some more on the ground observations. But everything from a distance and everything I've gotten over phone and text has been everybody just went to work and everybody just did the things they needed to do to get everybody contacted and put right in place, and make sure everybody was safe. And they're just waiting out power outages. Most people were without power for 5 days, and a lot of power came on yesterday. So everybody's, a lot of people in the county are fairly well off now that they got power back, power restoration. But there's certain pockets that aren't with power, and there's certain pockets that haven't even been reached yet because the roads are so washed out and so covered with trees and whatnot. And those are really on the real edge of the Tennessee-North Carolina border, in particular in Watauga County. Um, so just the kind of an idea of what we're going into. Um, so that's what I'm planning on doing. If you wanted to donate something, email me, and we can work out. It's the only I'm a Luddite. Y'all know this, and I'm using Navy Fed here. So what I'm using is the Zelle app with Navy Fed, and they have it all set up, and it's pretty easy to use. I've used it in other situations, but it goes through the bank, so uh, seems to be efficient. But it does go through the bank if your bank doesn't have it. But Navy Fed does, so a lot of credit unions do use it if you're in a credit union. Um, so that's what we'll be getting. We'll be looking at pillows, blankets, some winter stuff, kids size stuff. Um, Looking at socks, gloves, work gloves that we'll be getting a amount of. Whatever we end up with, we'll get an amount of. I'd like to set a goal of $500, which is probably over generous, but I'd also like to throw it out there that if we get to 1,000, I will work out a second run. Uh, if I have to drive back up to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or something to get the stuff. I don't think I've heard stories that the stores as far as Raleigh are pretty much getting a lot of the essentials off the shelves. So staying in state's probably not an option. Um, but if we got the donations somehow, I would. I already talked to the boss. I talked about a flexible schedule with, depending on how things go. We're going to do that this weekend, and if there's an opportunity to do a second run, we will do that. I also got to get on the ground and kind of get a feel for the need from the family side, because there might be a need to go stock up, get some building materials, and bring them up the mountain because they're not currently the Lowe's in Boone got wiped out. The Lowe's in Boone got put underwater, so there's not a lot of building materials. And I know, in particular, one of the church fellowship halls got some severe water damage. So they've already went through and pulled out, the damaged particle board, whatever baseboards and drywall and stuff. They've been working on that already to start that process. So they are putting in work to try to get things ready to get back to one piece. But we'll see if what their plan is for getting that started, because again, winter is coming. So that's kind of the plan. Hey, good evening, JJ. What's up? Nickel checking in, and Guns Coast to Coast in the house. So for one, I have to monitor my email because I don't check that thing. I guess I get notifications, so I don't get a lot of email on it. But just check that out. Again, it's in the description box, and we'll email some instructions if you wanted to donate to the cause. And that's what we're looking at getting, and that's where we're going. And if anybody, it is what it is. Kind of ad hoc, off the cuff, but that's the way we roll. Just like the way we run the channel, off the cuff. Nothing ever is planned out. So that is what it is. It's on brand, I guess, as you would say. We don't do anything not on brand. Hey, Alicia, good evening. How are you? Did you do a Thursday? Today's Thursday, isn't it? See, Alicia, I talked about at the beginning, I'm semi in vacation mode, and you probably just did a live, didn't you? Because 5:30, I may have walked over you. Not that I could. You got the good audience. I'm catching you though. I'm going to get to 3,000. Oh, you moved it to Wednesday. Okay, I remember. Yeah, you moved your lives around and everything. Almost 3,000. I want to catch you before you know it. And thanks for everybody for sharing the word. I know Alicia shared a video, and Adventures Guide to the Galaxy has checked in. He shared a video recently just highlighting the relief efforts and some of the stuff that's going on with the flooding and the hurricane, getting the word out, just doing what you are to share the good stories, which is all good. So appreciate it. I don't know. That's pretty much what I wanted to put out. I wanted to let everybody know what we're doing, and I had this big, I did have a pre-thought in my mind that I'll have this nice vacation video like what Alicia does, when she goes out traveling, and I'll be able to have some good snippets, which I might have a few, but nothing like I was thinking about, I don't think. But especially if we do 2 runs up there, we'll be there a little bit longer. But we got some of the Northeast, and we'll have some stuff to share. But we're focused now on getting in North Carolina, getting those supplies in, and just seeing how everybody's doing. If anybody has hillbilly relatives or grandparents, it's kind of one of those things like, well, we don't need nothing. Because it's not a dire need. It's like everybody else is worse off than us, so we don't need nothing. So dealing with that kind of mentality, you kind of got to guess, well, they're going to need something or need some few things, especially coming up in the duration as things continue to drag out with shortages, stores not open, and just the challenge of there's a lot of people that don't, and a lot of focus is on them, whereas you're just getting by. I'm not sure the work situation for a lot of people, but that is what it is. And again, we'll get more information on that, but it sounds like the town of Boone is pretty much up and running, except for the places that were really damaged in the flood, which is a lot of the large businesses. So we'll see how quickly people get back on their feet. But everybody, like I said, they're pretty resilient. They went through and did the things, and they kind of just hung out until the power came on, or depending on where they were at, they were just waiting, and especially if they're up in age, waiting for somebody to cut the road through, and they were just sitting there waiting. I haven't heard of anybody who passed away from any medical conditions or anything that happened during the event. But there has been a few, impacted by the flood, and I think those numbers are going to go up quite a bit, depending on which county you're looking at. The body count in Asheville sounds drastically terrible when it's all said and done. And a couple of those other towns where, the town was wiped out, there's no way all the people, whoever's unaccounted for, it's not looking good for them. It's been a few days to kind of figure it out. What's up, Dad, on YouTube? The Doit putting out his first of the month video, trying to figure out the P. Diddy connection with the economy, I think. If there was a connection. Adventures Guide to the Galaxy just got home. Yeah, more videos. Oh, you're on the West Coast. Right on. Down in Cali mostly. Yeah, if anybody has family or anything, shoot me a note or something. In particular, if you want to look at that. But yeah, right now I'm planning. We'll be coming down 81 to hit the 77, and then 421 is the route. I'm looking at probably supplying as far out as Roanoke, depending on if the stories change, or depending on what I hear on the ground as far as any other stores being out of stuff, because pretty much a pretty big circle, 100 miles wide around the area, has been a lot of stores picked through, because people are coming in, picking the stores' supplies out and taking them up the mountain. So a lot of the stores are a little lower on a lot of supplies than they normally would be. So you got to be a pretty good distance out. So we'll see how that goes. Interstate 81 has not been impacted, it doesn't seem like, so it's been remained open, so it has no problem with resupply. So hopefully that all works out with that plan. Between Home Depot and Walmart, I think we'll be able to meet all our needs But, if anybody's got any other ideas of what people need, I know, like I said, blankets, pillows are what they're talking about. Cold weather stuff, getting ready for socks, gloves for work gloves. Uh, Still, baby wipes is a big one. You know, alcohol wipes. They were talking about bleach is a big one, so people can clean up in the particularly the flooded areas that can be cleaned. They need to be bleached for concern with mold, so they're using a lot of bleach. So we'll probably pick up some of that as well, and yeah, that's hopefully going strong. Uh, Yeah, and Nickel, I saw it's not over. They're just delaying it until January, which is the weirdest thing ever. That the longshoremen that really got my conspiracy radar and everything else going when the longshoremen were going on strike on the first, and it's like some people were talking about. Who was it? It's like this isn't a coincidence that their contract, they set to expire on a presidential year election on October 1st. So they get a full month to really squeeze out all the money they can out of everybody pretty much and get what they want because uh, they do have a stranglehold on the imports. It's should never be like that. If you saw any of the video of the union boss, it's like straight up gangster. Like there's straight up gangsterism going on. That guy is nothing but a money grubbing, you know, fool. There's nothing redeeming. There's no redeeming characters in somebody like that in my mind. Adventurous Guide says going to go and help some areas that are in the southeast in general. Oh, you're going to, right? Yeah, it's because the whole. I mean, everybody forgets. Do they call it the bend or what there in Florida where it rolled through? Is that what they call that? The curve, the bend, the arch, the elbow. I don't know, but rolled through there. I mean, there's plenty of places in Florida and Georgia that were pretty hit. It just was different. It wasn't. Once in a lifetime type of event. Like when it hit the mountains. Um, but yeah, that'd be good. Adventurous Guide, AG2G. I don't know. We need to find a shorter. Trying to say adventurous every time is difficult. uh, so, anybody else checking in with us? Saw Doit check in. Alicia says, "Get that 3,000." Is that $3,000 or 3,000 subscribers? If we could get 3,000 donated, we'd be able to do a lot of damage. Definitely be able to help some people out. Ag Galaxy 7. Okay, so we're just going to call you Silver Galaxy 7. Silver Galaxy 7, new call sign. Write it up. You think who's a Trump fan? I'm not sure who you're talking about. There's a fan there, Nickel. Tattoos all over. Now you really lost me. I know if you go on my Twitter, there's several Twitter handles that are involved directly in the relief out of North Carolina that I follow and have been following and then following what they do now. You can see where I've reshared their stuff. It's been really good. They're focusing on the Asheville, Burnsville, and I think they went into Everyday, Stocking Mill Coffee. If you've heard of them, and they're on the Twitter there, they've done out of Florida a lot of work. And actually, they were coming out of the Northeast too when they started, because they commute the East Coast. But I think they were in Florida when they were setting up a store, and now the main boss man was coming out of the Northeast or whatever. But they were pretty deep in the northern counties for a while, and I think they went to Asheville um, the last couple days or today maybe. Um, so they've been all over. So there's lots of people doing lots of things. If again on the Twitter, if you want to see it, if you haven't, Greg Biffle, the race car driver, flying helicopters around to help people the last few days. There's a whole civilian air force dedicated to relief stuff that the government's mad they can't control it. Alicia says they had the same thing in '83, took out of town. Had to change the railway system, right? Salt Lake had houses flooded. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. '83, huh? Was that just a rain event, or was it snow melt with rain? Or that's a lot of. I mean, it's a pretty big rain event in that area. It takes a combination usually. Um, but yeah, anytime I know we had the big flood in the Sierra in '96, Christmas of '96, New Year's of '96, going into '97. You had all that snow stacked on, and then you had our big rain event, and it flooded all of Carson Valley, and Reno had a bunch of washouts. It delayed the building of the interstate. It did so much damage. Um, so yeah, those when they happen that big, I think they said it was like a 300-year event. That one, just when you had that much snow, and then because it's such a warm rain rains down on top of it, it really had a big effect. Lover of Truth 77.7, you're in Asheville. Awesome that you're getting a good response. Well, I mean, to a certain degree, they are overshadowed. I think there's a lot of people putting a lot of work trying to get to them, or if they haven't got to them yet, getting the small efforts. Um, I've heard the stories I've heard about FEMA have been anecdotal for the most part. I haven't heard, you know, I haven't seen anything official from anybody like a local sheriff or anything yet, which I would like to see, but I may have missed it. But I've definitely heard anecdotal stories from tons of people saying FEMA's doing everything from no-fly zones to that if you don't go through an official donation center, they're going to arrest you. But I haven't seen official releases and stuff like that, so I don't know how that's working, but it's definitely a concern, and I think this goes to prove the point that this is definitely something that is better to support self-supporting and do it yourself. And like I said, the people pretty much were very resilient, especially early on. The first 3 days, I think everybody got through it on their own accord, uh, you know, because it was all everybody helping everybody out. You know, there wasn't any outside help coming in anyway. And I can't wait to get some stories and just hear that perspective of, oh, you know, power was out. We just figured we'd wait for the power to go back on. We're gonna see how how that goes, but that's what I'm expecting kind of story to get, because that's kind of the nature of the people. You know, that's kind of the way we roll. Don't make a big deal about it. Just get through it. Scotsman, the Scottish American, what is going on, sir? I hope your health issues are getting better. I saw one of your last videos talking about your health issues and trying to get through that, and hope you're definitely getting better, sir, because that's no fun having to deal with something like that. I think I commented on that I had some back issues where I was able to work through, but I can't imagine if I was still dealing with some of that continuously for months. That would not be no fun. But I hope you get. We'll be thinking about you, Scotsman. Definitely heal up, and the doctors can get you straight and narrow. Adventures 8 or what's Ag 27, Ag Galaxy 7. We got to figure that out. Going to Tampa, South Georgia to help. Okay. Found a farm that's wrecked. You're going to help. Awesome. Yeah, no Santa Claus needed. Water seems to be coming out of the ground. Oh, you're talking about, at least she's talking about her flood from 83. Flood, water coming out of the ground in Salt Lake. Yeah. JJ says in '05, myself and family and friends took heavy equipment and chainsaws to the Gulf. We're talking about Katrina. Yeah. 3 months. That's awesome. That's hard work. And the stories I've been hearing, like, not only people have been, the locals doing their own work, but tons of people coming up the mountain helping to clear. There's still trees stacked on houses. It just takes time. It's going to take time to cut wood off trees and do it safely without, anybody getting injured by cutting trees and stuff like that. So that's a big concern. Doing it right without injury is always good. What's up, Red? Red's out there campaigning for Kamala. Kamala's in it for 2024, right? Good to see you, Red. What was that last video you just did that I commented on? You're like, was it the 2024 SHTF is now or something? I don't remember, but that was pretty funny. Yes, Alicia, people helping people is where it's at. That's where it's at. Wes S has arrived. There will be no bouncing back for several towns. That's just facts, Wes. It is true. And that goes back to the anecdotal stuff I've heard about insurance not covering stuff and eminent domain taking place. We'll see how that goes down. But like Chimney Rock is a significant tourist spot, and it is basically gone. So I don't know how they're going to handle that or what they think they're going to do with private property, but it's the rumors, and we'll see how it goes down. And Lover of Truth, right? Burnsville, Saluda, that's the big one. I heard lots about Saluda and getting some help. There's a guy on Twitter that's from there, I believe, and he's getting support with another guy from off the mountain, and they're just sharing their communication and how they're running supplies into the area. That's one of the areas where they're running pack mules and pack trains back up into the mountains, into places where just the road's gone, can't get up somebody's house, so they're older and can't get out or whatever, can't walk it out, and they're taking up supplies to people, especially medications now. Medications are becoming an issue for people that had needed ice or stuff like that. This is going on. Let's see what else we got going on in here. Yeah, so there's going to be lots of after action on this whole thing for the prepping side, and again, I hope to get some on the ground information. I've already got some good information on the supplies that were on hand and kind of the state of things where it started off. So that's good to kind of compare, and we'll have a chat or something talking about that and just kind of the way I think I can implement it into my own activities, if you will. Yeah, Wes, it's creeks now where there were houses, several spots, reshaped the landscape in many cases. Definitely reshaped the landscape in lots of locations. Yeah, there's pictures. I think I shared it on YouTube, on the community page in Watauga County. There, a house on the road. So a house had been taken off its foundation and sat on the road. It's not a mobile home. It's a stick-built home that just got lifted off its foundation. It's right there in the middle of the street. It's crazy. Surprised we didn't see more those mobile homes and stuff destroyed, which I don't know, maybe this got so destroyed there was no video of it. So much of it took place at night in certain locations that there may not be images of it. Yeah, right, Nickel. What good is insurance when they can just back out of it and do what, and not honor their side of the deal because they can weasel their way out of it and some little line item in the insurance policies like, oh, except in this cases of, is this a natural disaster or God? You know, if it has that clause in there or whatever, acts of God don't count. It's not very good insurance if that's the case. There was concern that a lot of people that have landslides, if it's counted as flooding, if because a lot of people don't have flood insurance, if they're because most people are slightly above the floodplain. They're like right where the floodplain would be for normal insurance, right? To get flood insurance, and they're built slightly above it, and they don't carry flood insurance. That's a large majority of people. Um, so it'd be interesting to see how the rebuild goes on a lot of those places, or the insurance backing people up on some of that. And then people aren't going to have enough to rebuild 100%. I know probably that's probably for sure. Um, they're probably just going to be able to rebuild a skosh uh, because the insurance not going to cover a full rebuild of whatever they had. On3 was just there and put up some really good video. Is that a? Oh, it's a YouTube channel, Wes. On3. That's the name of it? On3. Okay, check it out. Oh, there's ton. No, plug away, Wes. It's all right. It's good to share the work that's going on. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't plug your channel, Wes. uh, yeah, right. Scotsman, the insurance is designed to keep you paying no matter what. You never have to actually pay you for anything. And it's like if you ever use it, you have to pay. You have to pay more and more. It never gives you a break. You never get a discount. You don't. If you don't use it for 20 years, do you get any refunds or anything? It's funny how that works. All right, JJ saw some houses lift off the foundations. Yeah, lots of the water. Storms can do a lot of things you never would believe. Uh, and stuff like this, it's like you don't believe God could flood the earth in 40 days when you see something like that happen. Like, you got another thing coming. You might want to reevaluate your belief system when you see things like that. Because that was just, a matter of 24 hours, 36. And you just buried a whole region. Yeah, moving water in particular is powerful. So, all right. Well, that's kind of the update, folks. For those of you checking in late, just thought we'd share and give people the opportunity to comment. And again, look in the description box if you want to email me to donate. I'll send you a link. And if you want to donate to the cause, we'll be getting those items, focusing on the winter stuff, work stuff, wet wipes, diapers in particular, and I was thinking through just some of the necessities for some of the drop off points, and we'll either way we'll be definitely sharing the video, and trying to record some of the activities and what it looks like. You may have seen already or maybe not, depending on where you're looking, but we'll show kind of our experience and what goes on in that area. But yeah, so again, we're focusing on the western side of what's called Watauga County, up in the northeast corner, which you've seen the videos when I went back home years ago. And that area, that part of the county in particular, we shared video on it in 2017. Was the one video driving around that part of the county? And if I get the chance, I will drive almost that same route or some of that same route and try to do some comparison video, because I definitely think it'll be drastically different. Especially there was one section I don't know when it's the old river road that runs down by the river, and I drove that section's in that video, and I know that is going to look drastically different. So we'll see how that video comes. If we can get that video, which that road's probably pretty washed out in places, we'll see how that goes too. So that's the plan. Saturday night, going into Sunday in the area. Like I said in the title, it's going to be like a thunder run because we're going to get in and out because we don't want anybody to have to support us when we're trying to help them. So we're going to try to get out of their hair and get out of their business and just give them some relief and items, checking in on people, and see what other needs there are so we can plan for future operations um, and go from there. So I appreciate everybody checking in. Check out the description box and prep hard, live free. And stop.